white cloaks in right?
Remember back in the good old days of Hollywood when productions would be impacted because an executive producer was plowing some model who wanted to be a movie star? And for a myriad of reasons we decided that there should be rules against allowing the executives to fuck their coworkers, including the on-screen talent? If you've watched Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime, we're seeing the on-screen reason why that rule exists. If you've watched any of my videos, you're probably aware that the actor playing the character Maksim, Taylor Napier, is the life partner of the showrunner Rafe Judkins. You're also probably aware that Maksim is a character that was made up by the show and didn't exist in the books. You can already see the direction that this is headed. The show was always going to have a problem making the Return to the Two Rivers arc work. In the Shadow Rising book, 15 chapters and 86,000 words are committed to the Two Rivers arc between the main characters splitting up in Tyr and the beginning of the battle for the Two Rivers. The show utilized 76 minutes spread across 4.5 episodes between these two milestones. Both show and book needed to use that available time to make Perrin believable as an inspirational leader of men. Already, this is quite the heavy lift for the show. Compounding this challenge was the decision to introduce Faile and develop her into a love interest for Perrin in Season 3. In the books, a lot of this had already been achieved by the time the pair had made it to the Two Rivers. The reality is that relationships need time to grow on TV. Well, most of them anyway. In addition, the characterization of Perrin in Season 1 and Season 2 was, let's call it, notably different than in books 1 through 3. There is a murdered wife flavor to the character in the show that the book doesn't carry with him. So Perrin in the show is already starting deep in the red. That's a lot of ground that needs to be made up before he becomes believable as a hero and a leader of men. In short, the show was always going to struggle to make this work. And that was before the Maksim bomb. You see, it's remarkably easy to tell the story of the Return to the Two Rivers without Maksim and Alanna. While they're present in the books, they're very much doing their own thing in the background. In a show where a lot of difficult cuts need to be made, this is an incredibly easy one. Except that making this very necessary cut would mean that the showrunner's life partner wouldn't have anything to do this season, which is an obviously unacceptable outcome for the guy calling the shots. So changes were made. The most illustrative example of this catastrophic interference is in episode 5, the one episode in this bloated section where the characters actually managed to stop bitching about relationship drama for long enough to do something. In this episode, Perrin and the gang go and rescue 2 of the 3 Cawthon women from the White Cloak camp. In theory, this isn't bad, but it is nowhere near enough to justify Perrin being treated as a hero by the townspeople, especially when none of the townspeople actually witness it. The execution was also dreadful, but that's a different kettle of fish. In episode 5, a whole 12 minutes and 26 seconds, spread across 11 scenes, is dedicated to the Two Rivers story thread. In that 12 minutes and 26 seconds, the focus is on Perrin for a grand total of 3 minutes and 18 seconds. Essentially 27% of the episode, and I am being exceedingly generous in that distinction, as the largest chunk of that is a fight with the White Cloaks where Faile takes out 3 guys and Perrin takes down 0. In contrast, Maksim and Alanna are the focus for 6 minutes and 28 seconds, basically double the focus time that Perrin gets. This is to such an extreme extent that there is a 3 minute and 24 second stretch of just Alanna and Maksim that is longer than all of Perrin's time in total. If you aren't convinced by the focus time, we can look at it from a different avenue. Perrin says 87 words in this episode. Maksim rips off 160 words in a single scene. I also cannot emphasize enough how utterly devoid of character that Perrin's dialogue is. There is no reason that Perrin had to be the one to outline the plan.
Natty and the girls are in the camp. Ben, Chad and I will sneak in.
Any other character could have done so. The main character cannot be an exposition machine. He needs to be establishing his character with his dialogue. All of this is to say that by the time the show gets to its pre-finale finale, Perrin has done basically nothing to convince the people of the Two Rivers that he should be in charge of a lemonade stand, much less the entire damn militia. In a show that wasn't compromised by the showrunner banging an actor, Perrin would have led the Two Rivers men in several successful skirmishes against Trollocs. He would have directed the raising of defenses. He would have navigated the political complexities of the Two Rivers. All of these things would serve to create a character that the audience and the other characters could justify being in charge of this town. But none of these things occurred. The show tries to act like they occurred. Perrin shows up in his stupid shoulder pads and sings a song that none of the villagers understand the significance of, but none of it is earned. The show had 76 minutes, the same runtime as a handful of Miyazaki films, and completely squandered it on bullshit. These decisions are indefensible, to the point that even an embarrassing shill like Nameless is calling it out.
Hey there. So do you guys remember back to my non-spoiler full season review where I said there was one episode I didn't really like? Well, this one was it.
It got so bad that Taylor Napier himself is even getting into it with show watchers, complaining about his time in the show. His defense is that the amount of time spent on his character isn't that significant, but that isn't really true. A 3-minute scene may not seem like a long time, but when a show is only spending 12 minutes per episode on a particular storyline, 3 minutes is a hefty portion of that screen time. Ultimately, when half the show's attention is being spent on trying to shoehorn your bang buddy into scenes, the entire production is going to suffer immensely. And that's what we witnessed with this show. Anyway, that's my thoughts, boys. Walk in the light.